themselves is massive. It contains millions of fallen angels. And I don't mention the artwork I use in these videos a whole lot. Like for the Divine Comedy, I just use Gustave Doré because I love his stuff. And I'm doing the same here, but I have to mention, some of the artwork for Pandemonium is some of the coolest artwork I've ever seen. These miraculous structures that are highlighted by the flames of hell around them, almost to point out the absurdity and uselessness of their construction. It's just beautiful storytelling.
You go, Armand. You can talk.
And speaking of
you can pause it if you talk if you want.
Pandemonium's completed,
Let me know what you got to say.
All right. I was gonna say realistically, right? If he's a devil, right? Are you gonna name your kingdom all devils, bro? Like humans? It's like, you know, I'm just.
Nah, but we call it a kingdom though.
No, like his castle, you know. Like,
his castle, he gotta call it something though. But
Yeah, but I'm just saying realistically, you gonna call it that though?
I'm not the devil, so I don't know what.
I'm just saying, what do you call it? Like something like.
But you could call it an empire or something.
But, he called it basically his whole species.
Yeah, I love Wendy, bro. Me too. Forever. I fucks with Wendy. It gives you a lot to think about.
Oh no, perfect.
Yeah. You go, man. You on here too. We can see you. Where you Gucci?
Enters inside with the demons, and they all sit atop golden thrones. So now gathered here in the pits of hell in an altar to themselves, they begin to plan their next move. Satan leads the conversation, saying that heaven is not lost, and surely they have some way to fight back. The first one to speak is Moloch. Moloch is described as a brute and one of the fiercest warriors of...
Mic off.
It used to be heaven, but now it's hell. Moloch is full bore. They immediately have to fight back. He wants war and vengeance now. It's not really explained a lot throughout the story, but the concept of annihilation is mentioned, and it's described as being something that God himself has to do directly to a living thing. And it's kind of vaguely hinted at being a ceasing of consciousness, so like a non-afterlife or renewing form of death. And Moloch says it would be better to face annihilation than to just sit here in hell. Belial, another infamous demonic entity, tells Moloch that he should maybe slow his roll a little bit, because as Belial says, they all got beat pretty bad, and it would probably be a bad idea to just try the same thing over again.
Mic on.
Oh, thank you, bruh. Appreciate you watching me from Mexico.
Still, existent. Mammon then proposes a third option. He says that heaven is totally overrated, and they probably can't go back to it now anyway. So why not continue to build up hell itself, and then they could make an empire that could rival heaven. With this, everyone seems to cheer and like the idea of building their own glory within hell. All except Satan and Beelzebub, who have stayed silent this whole time. Beelzebub then speaks and says that this is a stupid idea because they're not really free at all, they're just jailed. And they can build golden palaces and think that they're kings as much as they want, but they're essentially locked in a box. So it's foolish to think this is...
Bruh, that's us on planet Earth too, bro. When you think about it. You do whatever you want, bro, but it's just gonna be that.
Beelzebub is speaking. He mentions that before they left heaven, they heard that God was creating a new world. A world called Earth, with a new creature called man. Beelzebub continues and says that whatever this man creature is, it won't be as powerful as the angels. And they know the angel strategy won't work because, again, see them line and fire for 9 days. So instead, what if they hurt God by destroying his creation? And then from there, they can take over the earth and make a real empire. With this, everyone agrees and says
Mic
it's a
off.
good idea. With that, Beelzebub says that they need a volunteer. Someone who can go to Earth and, for one, see if they can even access it, and two, if they can corrupt it to open a gateway for everyone else. So, of course, Satan, who we're going to find out later was planning this all along, stands up and offers himself to be the volunteer to go to Earth and try to corrupt man. He valiantly tells his followers that if he's going to be their leader, then you might as well act like it. Everyone cheers his departure, and as he's walking out of Pandemonium, he tells them to continue to build because they're probably going to need a palace here as well. As they all clear out of Pandemonium, it says that several of the demons come across these giant beasts and dragons on the floors of hell. So, make of that what you will. So Satan begins to fly off to leave hell and try to find Earth. and eventually he comes across the exit of hell. Hell has 9 gates, 3 of brass, 3 of iron, and 3 of rock. The very construction of these gates is a blasphemy of the gates of heaven. When Satan gets to the gate of hell, there are 2 figures guarding it. One of them is a figure whose top half resembles a beautiful woman, but her lower half is like a dragon snake thing. And then it says around her waist are these violent biting dogs, similar to Cerberus. And I don't know, after reading it a few times, if the dogs are like walking around her or if they're physically inside her. I think it's both. And the other figure guarding the gate is only described as a large, horrible, shadowy shape. It's a massive dark figure made of void that whenever it steps, the ground around it trembles. Satan asks to pass through the gate, and the shadow figure says that he needs to learn his place and suffer in hell like he's supposed to. Satan, who at this point is very much over any tomfoolery, says that he doesn't have time for it, just let him through the gate. However, during the argument that ensues, both of the figures refer to Satan as Father. This catches Satan off guard, and he asks them to clarify at why they're calling him Dad. The Medusa figure says that her name is Sin, and that she was conceived at the moment that Satan considered to rebel against God while in heaven. That rebellion of Satan being the universe's first sin, and this figure is the embodiment of it. That's why she appears the way she does. Much like Sin, at first it seems as a beautiful, attractive entity, but whenever you view the whole of it, you realize it's just death and destruction. And speaking of death and destruction, Sin says that while she was in heaven, again after Satan had created her, her presence began to tempt the other angels, who would then
Mic on.
I'm hold you to it.
This buildup of sin caused her to give birth to a new entity. That entity being the shadow figure on the other side of the gate, known as Death. So through Satan's original pride and thoughts of overthrowing God, he created sin. And through sin's prevalence throughout heaven, sin created death. There's a lot of mockery presented between what Satan does and what God does. We'll see scenes in heaven later that involve God and Jesus, but we're already seeing the groundwork of that dynamic. Satan offers to be the heroic sacrifice.
No cap. I think I'm gonna show my dad this too. Until I ask him how he feel about it.
Again, a parallel to God in Christ. He now stands here with sin and death, both his creation.
His Black Parade.
Trinity, and even the setup of having
I'm gonna get that one too.
Throne room and palace in hell,
the 411 case too.
Seems to be a sort of mirror image of what he knows to be power and glory. However, it's his motives and application that will
thank you, I appreciate it.
That separate him from the sinless grace or power of God. Sin continues her story and says that whenever the angels fell from heaven, sin and death were cast out as well. And as they were cast out, sin was given the keys to the gates of hell and told to never open it. You're probably asking yourself, why did God or the angels give sin the keys to hell? And we'll talk about that later. So after hearing all of that, Satan's like, well, that's weird. Satan, I got a deal. What if you let me through that gate, I'll let you two.
He gave you the keys to hell.
Eventually.
He said this is where you're going to stay at.
Forget their post
what you mean that's weird?
Because as soon as Satan says they can come with
he said this is your L right here.
They get excited, and sin immediately opens the gate. Milton refers to the key and the opening of the gate as the sad instrument of all our woe. The gate opens into a sea of raw chaos. It said later in the story that God built the earth using raw chaos, or essentially raw energy, to put the world and the firmament around it together.
Wow.
So here, outside of hell itself, is just like a cloud of nothingness. Satan leaps into the nothingness trying to fly, but immediately starts to fall. It seems that outside of this realm of creation, he has no power. But just as he's falling, a great wind blows him upwards, and he continues to glide through empty space of chaos by random winds. Why did sin have the key to the gate? How is Satan conveniently getting to Earth? Hypothetical questions that I may or may not answer. We'll find out. As he's getting blown around, Satan comes to a giant figure made of this dark energy that identifies himself as chaos itself. Satan offers him the same deal. He's like, hey, if you tell me where Earth is, you can come with me. And Chaos is like, oh, it's that way. And then Satan just kind of blows along that path.
What
As
the
Satan
fuck?
leaves, death and sin begin to use the chaos material around them to physically build a bridge from hell to earth. Eventually, as Satan continues along this path for an undetermined amount of time, he eventually sees that he's nearing.
By the way, I don't believe this to be
Earth. At this
all the
point,
way
we
true.
then cut to
Like, have
heaven
some
and
elements
see
are
God and
true.
Jesus sitting on the throne. Now, it's debated a lot throughout Christianity when
Or accurate to
Jesus
the Bible,
was
I mean.
created, if he even was created, because God exists outside of time. So a lot of people say that Jesus is eternal and has always existed apart from God, but at the same time, Jesus said, I and the Father are one, so they're not really separate at all. And I'm not here to discuss all that. All you need to know is that in Milton's story, Jesus was created like last week. But he's one with God, so he has all of the omnipotent and knowledge of God himself. So God and Jesus are on the throne, and they're watching Earth. Specifically, a creation filled with uninterrupted joy and unrivaled love. And then as they're sitting there, they see Satan approaching. I can only picture the visual of God and Jesus, and then just off to the side, there's a little dude. It's getting closer. So since God is omniscient and exists outside of time, God sees everything that is going to happen, ever. So God looks at this and says that eventually his creation will betray him. He also mentions that he could in fact stop it right now if he wanted to, but the purpose of this creation was the concept of love, so that they could experience love and love freely. And love does not exist without the concept of free will.
Yeah.
Something cannot be loved if it's just forced subjugation. It has to be a willing desire to follow something else. And in this moment, God knows that humanity is resigned to its own choosing. God says that humanity will not be wholly punished. They will just choose to no longer be divine creatures and therefore cannot act in divinity. They will know suffering. They will know corruption. They will know everything that they.
That's what I meant. Like, I don't know how it is true to the Bible, but some people might consider the Bible fiction. Some might people being true. I'm trying to be PC about it, cause I don't want to say somebody who believe in the Bible is not real or not. So that's all I gotta say. Cause I can't say, oh, it's fiction, cause you're gonna have people jumping on my ass about it. I'm streaming right now. Yeah, you can say that. That's cool, but not me. Yeah. It made so well, right? And Dante Inferno also. He probably had some bad, like, bread. He had some mold or mushroom on his bread when he was eating it back in the 1700s.
Wants to go to Earth in order to conquer it and in order to defile it so it can be no better than him. Whereas Jesus makes the same offering, only unlike Satan, who is trying to bring humanity down to his suffering, Jesus is trying to bring humanity up to his grace. He refers to Jesus in this moment and says, in whom the fullness dwells of love divine, and that he himself will one day defeat Satan, death, and sin forever. Something I love about Paradise Lost is whenever you hear the concept of the story, you already know where it's going to go. Like, no one who has any concept of theology picked up the book and was like, oh,
Mic off.
Garden of Eden from Satan's perspective. I wonder how it turns out for that guy. Like, we all know where this story's going, just as God knows where the story's going. And it's a beautiful picture that before the fall of man ever occurred, God already had our way back prepared. But what the story does that's particularly interesting isn't the narrative. Again, we all know how that turns out. It's its characterization of it. And the majority of that characterization falls on Satan. All that is truly known throughout the Bible is the idea that Satan saw himself as equal to God, and after trying to take that place, he was cast down. And here we see those ideas more fleshed out. As mentioned earlier, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. But as the story goes on, that philosophy begins to crumble under itself, and we see Satan continue to grasp for straws to try to maintain his power, his resilience for his own cause, and in the end, just how far he's willing to justify his own suffering. So anyway, we cut back to Satan, who's making his way to Earth and lands in this lush forest. It's also at this time, and Milton doesn't do this a lot, Dante was way worse for it in his writings, but a lot of these older writers do this thing where their character's monologue will reflect their own.
Mic on.
I think the 9 levels of heaven that was really good. Oh.
My thing is, if one of the angels were looking down, right, and seeing gold shit, like seeing earth and shit, like, and then when the devils, like the bad, like when the devil came down.
Dumb, stupid ass.
What?
Dumb, stupid ass, man. He just be coming in here, killing my vibe, man. I be all good. You be talking some dumb shit. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this kid, man?
Like what?
My boy's trying to be holy, bruh. Emron, you gotta do this. We trying to be holy, bruh.
Wait, what do you mean?
No, John.
Huh?
Anybody ever?
Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm streaming. Yeah, I'm streaming right now. So yeah.
What I
yeah.
do?
I'm streaming, bro. You can't say nothing, dog. Like, and it's going actually pretty good right now. No lie. Just don't say no names or anything. I don't want nobody to get doxxed.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody got me nervous.
Yeah, you got me nervous.
You ever seen a dude, man, ever come to you and like, I understand you be asking, hey, can I get more hours?
Oh no.
I completely understand that. Because people need to work. People need to eat. It's a tough time out here.
Yeah, I thought I did something crazy. Hey, I need to justify.
Everybody ever and say, this man came to me and said, I'm working too much hours. What the?
Nah, I didn't say it like that. I said.
Hey, you already snitching on yourself, bruh.
Nah.
Hey, come on, bruh.
I didn't say that.
Come on.
Words in my mouth.
Javon, you wanna join in on this Paradise Lost? If you're on your computer? Yeah, by Wendigoon. Oh damn.
You're a word. I was about to say.
Hey.
Done early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Today's Thursday.
How much more do you guys have left?
Yeah, how much left? It's up. PZ break.
Dang.
Oh boy said a lot. How many people are there?
Same amount of people. It's just like, it wasn't that small. There's a lot of toads.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's even worse. It's not like heavy or anything. It's just little crap, miscellaneous stuff. Yeah. Oh, my boy got off. All right, you good? Go ahead. Oh.
Explain himself. Let him say it. I want to hear what he has.
All right, hey, explain yourself. Then you go back to the video. Go ahead, Emron.
I'm a reasonable person, right? I'm a reasonable.
Yeah. Code name Emron.
I was just low-key tight my half and like Evan's half because legit I was just like I thought it was
Mic
the
off.
whole time. No, well, not the whole time. Well, after I checked the schedule, I was like, wait, he probably did this on purpose. But like nine and a half hours, yeah. Like I just wish that someone told me ahead of time because when I was checking the schedule, it didn't even say that. It said 12 to 7:30.
That's why your schedule is out 2 weeks in advance. You dumbass. No.
Come on.
Is it not? So for 2 weeks you can look at your schedule.
Bro, I just checked the date, like, the day before for the next day. It's not like I remember.
Whose problem is that?
Come on, Javon. Are you actually mad because of that?
No, I'm just saying, like, what's wrong with you?
What? All right, Javon. I apologize for acting up at work.
You sent the message. Now I don't know what happens now.
Come on. What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying. I don't know.
Oh my god. See, that's what I said too. Was like you're picking up Evans's trait of doing that. Like why?
No,
why? Like it's like you're threatening. You're like low key threatening me, and then you're low key doing this, but you're not doing that.
It's not a threaten thing. It's not a threaten thing.
Then what is it? Like intimidation?
Flip person. Let's flip. Let's flip real fast. You are your boss, right?
Mhm.
And I'm Emron, right? I say, hey man. I really don't want to work this shift that you gave me. Too long. Is there a mistake? What's going on here?
Because it's a mistake. Well, I thought it was a mistake because I was never scheduled that ever. Like ever. I'm telling you, okay, it's not normal. When I checked, I was like 10. then I'm at my 10 to 5 because 10 to 5. Think about this. When I'm scheduled 10 to 5, there's 100% that I'm finishing at 5. There's 100%. There's never been one time that I've been working at Best Buy that I don't finish at 5 if I work 10.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right? So me going in there, that's why I thought it was a mistake because it's the first time me seeing this.
Okay, and you
And
you
then,
saw it, right?
and then I came to you, and then you were like, "Oh, you're gonna work the shift." I was like, "Okay." And then did I complain again? No.
Yeah, but still, you complain once. I don't know what you're complaining for. What are you complaining for, man?
All right. So I got this. So more of the story is he's saying just cause he's allowed to be frustrated about the time he has to work if he wasn't expecting it, and he wants you to understand as a boss
Yeah.
that hey,
Okay.
you sometimes
But
we
that's
get
why
mad.
the
When,
schedule is made
I mean,
2 weeks in advance.
oh,
You could have looked at it
okay, yeah, then that's you,
and
my
asked,
nigga.
listen.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is. If you would have
But
said
then
Like
think about this.
that
Think
was
about
2
this,
weeks
right?
notice.
No.
That was a two
Let
weeks
me
notice.
defend. Let me defend.
I'm
When
trying.
you're on the app, the reason why I thought I worked 12:30 to 7:30 is because on the app, if you don't click on like the certain day, it doesn't show you when you start. It just shows you like 7:30, 12:30 to 7:30. And I'm like, okay, that's like a whole day. It's not like I'm not like that's what I thought I'm gonna go into. But then the day before, I click on it, right?
You got what application? You got a different application than I got?
Basically, he said you
No,
didn't check the
look,
day before, but you might have changed it the week of.
You got
No,
the best
I'll
blue
show
app?
you. I'll show you what I mean.
Next time, just screenshot the schedule when it comes out, and then when it changed, show them again. Be like, hey, nigga, you changed my schedule. I think that happens sometimes, because people do that when other people call out. I'm not saying you did that now. I'm just saying it does happen, though.
Javon,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah, we're
man.
not saying,
Don't
come on,
feel
Javon.
that way,
Don't
bruh.
feel tight,
Come
Javon.
on,
We know
you're
you're
feeling
working hard,
that
right? Come on,
way.
bruh. Come on,
You
bruh.
really do feel.
Yeah, you working hard.
That's why you came in this chat like that. Oh, you had negative energy. I was having a good day.
This sound like somebody
You know what else
interrogating
I feel
somebody.
bad, yo? You know what else I feel bad? Javon came in and be like, you know what, guys, to the whole truck team, we're gonna be out by 10. And deep down, I was like, Javon, why are you even giving them false hope? Like, my boy said there was 300 AirPods and stuff like that. Y'all gonna be gone. And I was
Whoa.
like, damn, Javon, you're gonna give them false hope.
300
And I
AirPods,
felt bad. Come on,
500
Javon, you know you
AirPods,
stop.
1,000 AirPods, bro. All them
An hour
AirPods. Give me one, bro.
Nothing changed.
Yeah. Oh no, for a fact, when I came back, I was like, oh, you guys are making good time. I came back again. I was like, what? I was like, what happened? Nothing.
Yeah, you saw it.
Bro, I was actually like, yeah, y'all gonna be here for a while.
It happened.
That shit crazy.
Nah, bro. Just get your girl Spencer to do all like the accessories and mobile and stuff.
When people call out, it leaves them
Oh,
in a big
that's
predicament.
true, and I know who too.
When people call, so think of it.
Oh, it is your
Oh,
boy.
man.
That,
I never call out. You know that for a fact.
Hey,
I would have to be dying.
Javon, you want me to come back?
Yo, come over here, man.
You.
So you gonna?
All right.
I don't remember you ever calling out.
No,
you
I
ever
don't.
called out before?
No. See, that's how crazy it is. You don't even remember if I ever did, but you can tell when somebody else did, though.
True.
Like, yeah, you never remember me calling out. Ever. Remember when I used to come early to do the truck?
I don't remember you working there.
What you mean you don't remember, nigga? Your mama remember I was working there. I was feeding her. That's what was going on. Yeah, nigga. What you mean? What you mean?
That's the same about the same.
Yeah, the same time you got your bed frame. That's around the same time I got your mama too. I took her shopping. We got you. Who think got you the bed frame? Who think who? Oh, wow. Who told you? Who even got you the bed frame in the first place? Yeah, me and your mama, nigga. Yeah, me and your mama, nigga. There you go.
It's a package deal.
She said, I was going to say something crazy.
So, the moral of the story, I'm trying to
I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain.
complain.
If I have to call the suicide hotline or something just to be like, yo, my boss is...
Bruh, that's why. That's not even about it, nigga. What do you mean, yo? You stupid.
I'm just saying, in the time that we're in, there might be a recession soon.
What he said that you said that might, nigga. There is a recession. What are you talking about? You know how much houses cost for no reason?
That's why my pick time is under.
You know how much gas is? Milk and gas cost the same. What the fuck? $3.89.
Oh yeah, cars. I can't. The used car market is something else.
Yeah, they used. Go ahead.
When I first bought my car, it was like 14,000. It wasn't. It was, but still, like it was like there was so many cheaper cars that I was looking at. Now, you go on CarMax, you go on any of those websites, they have like 2 cars that are below 10,000, and then 2 cars that are 15,000.
And one of them is John's.
Yeah, and then all
It comes with your mom too as a deal.
are 20,000.
Yeah, she keeps the car clean. She keeps the car clean when you're not there. She sleeps in the trunk.
Wait, real quick, why? Like, this might be a dumb question.
Go ahead.
But why like during like times like this where like people are getting like fired and not working?
No, tell him.
Why are cars going up in price? Like why are cars going up? Like
because people, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. People in these times tend to buy stuff they kind of don't need, cause that is how it is. Like think about it. When there's a hurricane, we buy gas up, we buy toilet paper up. It runs up the price. That's the point. So a lot of people, yeah. So it's not the fact that the cars are being bought is weird. It's the fact that why are people buying cars? So yeah, man, you don't have to worry about your mama touching the ocean. She flies a carpet. She's not allowed on Delta airline anymore.
You gotta think about it.
Cause she won't put on no shoes. Nah, it's used cars though.
That's why those things are getting in price. Back then, you gotta think about it. For COVID, everybody was getting stimulus checks. That's when like most companies were
Bruh,
getting stimulus check.
What are you talking about, Javon? Stimmies? You talking about stimmies? You're not talking about the PPP loans. You're not talking about the PPP loans.
But my question is right.
Come on, bruh.
To
Some people liquidated that money.
To define it, okay, real quick. But then that's used cars are going up in
Listen,
price.
bro.
So if you buy a brand new car,
Amron, it's not random people. It's the dealerships that's buying them up, bro. That's it. It's a dealership buying them up and then charging them up. It's easy money. It's big corporation, bro. Like GM, Lexus, probably Toyota.
There's not a lot of people making cars.
Yeah, they're gonna sell them for whatever.
Yeah, so they get your car from trade-ins and stuff. And
but right now,
they mark up the price. Like if my car costs,
I can buy a new car for 10,000. Okay, so I was looking yesterday, right? This is why I'm bringing up the question. Yesterday I was looking for a 2016 Lexus, right? 46,000 for $10,000 more. I can get a 2020 with the same engine, upgraded everything for 10,000 more. But I'm just saying, like, I can, for that price, I might as well just get a new one. So that's what I'm saying. Why used cars becoming so close to like brand new cars? Like I'm comparing a 2016. They don't have that many used cars. They have new cars. They don't have used cars.
Yeah.
So the people are just jacking them up because they don't have that much used cars.
Yeah, it makes sense to make more bread that way.
People need cars. So if they jack them up, they make so much more money off of them, and they don't have a lot to choose from. So when you get there and you need a car, for example, when I bought my car, I needed a car. That's why I ended up with a Corolla. And that is because
hey, don't slide in the Roller now.
Yeah.
So how you liking the Corolla?
The Corolla's actually a nice car, bro.
Yeah, awesome. You and John got the same thing.
No, it's awesome because and it never does me wrong.
Yeah, Toyotas are good cars overall. Like Chiba Inu here remind me of new Toyota.
It never ever does me wrong, and I'm glad that I have it because I was gonna pick a Volkswagen, a convertible Volkswagen or some weird stuff.
They're reliable Toyota.
Yeah.
You and Jazz would have got married if you got a Volkswagen. So I'm not even capping.
He says probably true.
I'm just saying, yeah, like right now, it's tough out here. So you should never, ever, until things get better, complain about your shift because you are lucky to have a shift. People are not going to be here tomorrow.
Damn.
People.
Recession, bruh.
There's some people on the schedule who have the same amount of hours their entire week that you have in that one day that you're complaining about.
Damn.
The reason why you don't want to complain is because like in the battle, when you're picking between who gets the hours and stuff like that, do you want to give it to the person? Like, everyone needs it, but
you gotta give it to the right people. No lie.
The names. Yeah, all it is names at some point. Like, there's not that many big differences. So at a point it becomes just names.
Hey, man.
You're like, oh, this is the dude who is complaining.
Big corporation, bruh. You becoming Big C, bruh. I'm telling
why
you.
Why are we hiring people?
That's
like, we lost so many people.
Because
we only hired Nick and.
You know why? You know why? They don't have to pay you more. Your starting wage always gonna be at 15, and if you're really good, that's when you start getting paid more. You're on the way out. You just don't see it yet. It's just every year you're always gonna be wondering, cause just how businesses go, not by your skill alone, because we seen niggas get thrown out who actually had the company running for like probably a couple years before we even got there. So it's not if you're inadequate, it's just, hey, like he said, you're just another name at a store. I know it's whatever for you, but for some people, it is what it is. Like they trying to get it where it is. They thinking just because they got a new job, they're gonna make more money, and they find out like they're doing 10 hours a week. That's dookie.
Yeah. Some people, that's what they want.
Yeah.
Some people, literally, that's all they want. They complain when they get more. So it works out in some cases, but still, in some cases, you can't be the person who wants hours and doesn't want hours at the same time. Pick a struggle.
Yeah.
Pick a struggle.
Pick a struggle. No money or more money for honey. That's it. So my boy gotta take them hours, bro, anywhere he can.
And you should, because every single, how it goes is they just make more.
Emron, bro.
You ever made a schedule before?
Emron, think about this, bro. Part time while we on my stream, bro. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Just start doing total tech support from online, bro. No lie, bro. We're gonna troubleshoot niggas shit from the house. Did you try turning off and on the internet, ma'am? That's all we gotta do, bro. $5. $5 donation. Come on. Yeah, go ahead, Javon. My bad.
Wait, you ever made a schedule before? Now, imagine you make a schedule a certain way every single day. I mean, every single week, right? And they remove hours, and they don't cut it from just a little teeny bit. Cut you in half.
Yeah.
Now you have to figure out how to do it with that. And then imagine you make the schedule with the thing cut in half, and they say, you know what? We need a little bit more too. And now you have to do it again. That's why there'll be gaps. There'll be times when there's people alone. Sometimes there'll be someone who was there, who was supposed to help, that got cut, didn't make the cut.
Damn.
Because we have to, and it's not like
it's not like they want to. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Like, listen, big corporation gonna give the employees as much as they can before they start cutting losses. If you make more money, like, go ahead.
Every time you get a shift on your schedule, you should think about it as a win.
A struggle. You got a lottery.
Just because you see all these changes that they're making on the schedule, it's not because
you have to start making money for yourself.
Hours. It's because they're cutting more hours. How many times have you heard already in these few weeks? Oh, we're making changes. Oh, we're making changes. Oh, we're making changes.
Yeah, every fucking day.
It's just more cuts. It's more cuts. You actually make it to your day that you can actually.
Damn.
You should be happy.
Damn. I'm not saying. Damn, Javon like triple downing on you about this shit, bro. So I mean that's the point. He just telling you you could think and you could feel it, brother, but just don't say it, bro. Just don't text it, bro.
However you want.
Yeah, but just don't complain about it, cause
eventually you can, but there's also people behind the scenes too who are like, what the heck? How am I supposed to live off of this?
Nope.
This is impossible.
And that's where we are in the economy.
They would love that too. They would love it. So just take all these things into consideration.
You gonna be like, why J-Man got more hours than I do? Pretty soon if you keep talking like that. He
Yeah.
gonna be mad as fuck for not having it. So
Next
you
time
rather?
you get all your hours. Just
Oh hell no.
Why? That's gonna be out of spite.
It's gonna be out of
That's
spite.
that's a fact.
You gotta
car
get.
White
faster
girl.
than yours. So.
Hey, but my boy, no.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
whiter
listen
than
though.
both of us combined. So what
Listen
does that
though.
mean?
Listen though. The thing about my boy is that he knows he's irreplaceable. That's the thing. Y'all can talk shit all you want, but he knows that no matter how late he is for, to work, no matter if he complains about how much hours he get in, he's gonna get the job done better than the newbies. Cause y'all keep getting rid of him.
No, that's absolutely.
That's y'all fault.
Yeah.
So he can complain,
But
you can complain.
also remember
Hmm
that times are changing. You think
He's not lying though. It's a recession.
Yeah.
by you leaving,
Corporations is gonna start cutting
free
people
up, yeah, that'll happen.
straight up.
If they ever cut anybody for whatever reason because they're struggling through this time, like
And
and you want to leave, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, go ahead. Like
yeah,
they, like I said, at our store we know all your stuff, but
took niggas.
Billy Ann Jr., who's doing the stuff in corporate
Huh?
or any of those things,
They don't
they
know
look
you.
at your name and they're just like, oh, okay. They don't know the difference between you. They don't know the difference between Nick.
White
They don't know the difference. They don't know the difference. So
Bruh.
when it comes time, they like, oh, how long have you been here? They think about all those things, and you're just a name. So those.
And
how hard you work.
they would look into the attendance too. No cap. That's I said that might be your
And then-
biggest kryptonite over the
They
course
feel
of
like
years.
everything is coachable. Everything is coachable. So you 100% can do your job better than everybody. But the way they think about it,
When you
you
make
are replaceable.
yeah, when you make
Yeah.
when you make the CEO who was a former financier of the company to be CEO, she gonna make strategic money cuts instead of actually giving a fuck about the
Oh yeah,
employees.
no for a fact.
So she gonna be like, oh, this nigga ain't gonna produce no revenue. He wants to leave. We give him the hours he don't want to do nothing with it. All right, get to the next person. He's out.
Bing bong.
That's why you keep asking why we keep hiring people. That's the reason why. You're just another number. We don't give a fuck. People gonna want to work for crumbs, and that's what it's gonna be. For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I've had this job, I've learned a lot of different things, and I know the way that because I was once one of you guys, and I've learned how
Damn.
things operate. Now, I'm the
My boy
target
became manager 2 months ago. I'll just play. I'm fucking with you.
Ever since I've been the target supervisor,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of crazy things. You know.
Yeah, it forced you to like not try to get attached to too much people. It's because you know that any day they could be gone for the reason at work or their own reason. So like, just be careful. Yeah, it's just like that.
That's one thing. You
Yeah.
could also be like Emran,
Yeah.
and you have to be careful who you make friends with as well, because
Oh, somebody might snitch on you.
Emran pulls up to you and he'd be like, "Hey, best friend, come on, man, let me do this, let me do this."
So not
Better and tell him.
so not they looking at him how they looked at the last supervisor that was buddy with you. They're like, is that you getting drunk with him? Oh, okay, he's your ass now.
You just understand that you look at me and you say, "Why? I wish you were like this guy." And then the way that my bosses look at me, they're like, they use that as a negative.
Damn.
They say, "Wow, you're just like this person."
Damn.
You gotta think about it in that way. Just you want me to be like them.
Oh no, I was kidding when I said that. I rarely say
Yeah,
that.
he's-
I never say
He
that.
says it jokingly, but y'all don't know how to take a joke. But I'm just
No, I know, but I'm just telling you, we just talking, you know, for the stream, like.
I'm instigating. No lie. Yeah, I'm instigating. No lie. This is kind of juicy. I was just reading about the devil storyline, but this is good too. Come on.
No, you gotta think about it like that too.
I'm about to
Not
turn on my
only
lava lamp.
you might, the way that you want me to be is the opposite of how everybody else wants me to be.
Oh, how you?
In a business standpoint.
Yeah.
You
You can't be friends all the time.
Yeah.
I completely.
That boy, sad boy hour.
Bro, I talk the most shit like about you behind your back.
Me too, though. He literally told everybody I was like a broke foot person, and then that's like, who?
I know
Retarded.
that's a lie because I be chewing gum.
Welcome to the dark side.
Going through the gum.
I'll be coming out different color.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going like.
I can't even see the lava lamp, but this is what it looks like.
But yeah, things change. There you guys.
Damn.
See. And I see it. I can see it all.
I mean, it's valid. It's valid.
I completely disagree with the way that we run our stuff because and not everybody will agree with me on that. Everybody will say that we do it the correct way by letting people get away with those type of things, being friends first, you know.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I feel like if you don't have discipline, if you don't have, if you show these people that you're just joking, they can get away with things, that's what creates a toxic work environment. Well, not a toxic work environment, but a toxic business culture. Like running a business, it can't be all fun and games.
You gotta be a corporate nigga, bro. You gotta be a corporate nigga, bro.
You don't have to like be that bad of a corporate person, but you just gotta know when it's time to play around, and when it's so that's something that I disagree with. I think about this when we were working our shift at Target, the walkies, right?
Yeah.
The walkies.
Excuse me.
They would lose it every day. Every day we would lose a walkie. Don't know where all the walkies are. The walkies.
Yeah, perfect.
Then one time when we actually got punished for it or were talked about being punished, guess what happened? We never lost a walkie again. Maybe we'll lose one, and it'll come back.
Yeah, no, for a fact. You know, for a fact. When y'all made that rule, I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, look at
we taking walkies home, bro. Like what?
Yeah.
Look at how much better tardies have been ever since they got a little bit stricter on these things.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I think that's just, I don't know.
You do not believe in it?
Yeah, the whole tardy one, yeah, but that's, yeah.
Yeah, I understand, but you have to understand we're on easy mode.
Yeah, yeah.
Target on easy mode. If we go to Target and look at the way that we're supposed to be as a company, that is exactly how. It's not like he's adding something new.
Down.
Oh, no, 100%.
He literally is just reading from this what he's supposed to be doing instead of giving you guys a million chances.
Like, you know, not throwing bricks down, like, you know, right there, but hey, we ain't gonna talk about that.
I mean, I would never do that.
Fix shit. I came to work yesterday and I looked in the compactor, that shit was clawed, and I see just 2x4s just boom, it's like across the thing. I'm just like, wow.
Couldn't beat me.
Yeah, that's a fact. How many times you had to climb down in there? Have you had to do that?
Hey, on record, bro, still on stream. You know,
Working on that target.
He never did that.
I've never did that, but
in GTA he did though. Yeah, there you go.
When I was playing in GTA, I had to climb there every single week to get spots. Every single week. The good thing it's just a video game and not real life.
Yeah.
In real life.
That's a fact.
That's
really
dumb.
No way. No
Damn.
way. Seeing your character in GTA, there's like green shit coming out of your body, bro. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, green stuff. Yeah.
Your character stank, bro.
Damn, that's wild.
And your character is ugly.
Big facts.
Your character also gets no hose.
Oh.
In GTA.
And GTA, damn.
It'd be like that, huh? Honestly.
What the hell was that?
My boy taking that dookie wookie.
Good thing it was in GTA.
Is that work?
What do you mean? We talking about GTA?
Alright. Well, you about... Oh.
I'm at work in GTA.
Alright.
Come on, man.
We're gonna continue the paradise. I'm gonna have to put it down just a little. You can't say nobody. You can't say that her name or anything like that. I'm not trying to. Yeah, that's even worse.
No. Never that.
Okay. I almost put your volume down. I thought you were done. I thought you was finished. Hold on, wait a minute.
No.
All right, go ahead. Spill your heart, bro. I know you at work. This is work boy hours. Come on, bro. Preach. Come on, bro. Hey, you sing, bro. That boy got sing Negro spirituals while here. He's singing Negro spirituals while he at work. Come on, bro. Tell me what's wrong, bro. What's on your chest? Welcome to the 10-minute, 20-minute podcast. Let me know what's going on. My boy Wendigoon looking at you crazy. Come on.
Wait, what?
I said my boy Wendigoon is looking at you crazy.
John, shut up, bro. I can't hear him, bro.
I can't hear him either.
Oh my god.
Hold on. There it goes.
I found.
Go ahead. You good?
Nice, right? To read. I know what you're thinking. What is that?
No, I can see that.
What's wrong with them?
No, I can see that. It depends on what you read, though. That's the thing. I think
I've never been one to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been one to read books. But
you read manga, don't you?
No.
Or you don't?
Read.
So you did. But you read texts every day.
Huh?
That's
yeah,
it.
That was a cow.
Yes, it does, nigga.
Like a book. He's talking about a book.
Yeah,
okay, I feel what you mean, but you say you don't read. Just say you don't read literature. They say you don't read literature. Yeah. If you say you don't read at all, I'm assuming like nigga, you don't read signs. You don't read what? Like you gotta be specific.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I read. Kind of.
Yeah, but you don't read books.
What are you reading right now, though?
He doesn't. So if I put a Bible in front of you, you wouldn't have the time to read it.
No, what are you reading right now, Javon?
So right now, there's not actually nothing that I really am reading. There's nothing I'm reading. There's a book that I was looking into, but it hasn't come out yet.
I feel like
But
a lot of Americans don't do these two things: drink water and read books a lot.
True.
I think that's a real big thing in America.
Water.
You might read.
And remove the soda from your life. I swear.
Excuse me.
You can add years on your life if you actually drink that water.
So if I go to salsa water,
I don't
with
know.
no flavoring,
Like carbonated water.
just regular carbonate. There's no extra ingredients.
You're just putting
I mean,
air in it.
I feel like it tastes like cheeks, but
I don't mind it because you expect the sweet flavor after. It goes well with sugar. It doesn't necessarily go well with just regular water. Well,
Try reading Paradise Lost, Javon.
yeah, we're watching it. Yeah, it's about this. Is the POV of Satan losing to God, and it was so funny, bro. It's like
It's like his side.
yeah, it's his side of the story, and it's really funny, bro. I wish he was on your computer. Join the watch party.
It makes you think because like whatever is like portraying like like what we know mainstream is like bad things about him and shit like that. You know, like just like made him seem like really really bad. Not saying he's a bad thing,
no.
bad thing, but I'm just.
No, he is. What the fuck? It's Satan. This
No,
nigga Satan's not a bad guy.
No, I'm just saying
It
the
could
way
make you think.
I'm saying the way they portrayed it, it made him seem like way worse. But I'm saying the way like this person portrayed it, he's still bad. But I'm just saying it made it seem like less. Like,
Yeah.
it made him like made you see like why he kind of did it like type thing, like why, but like it's still bad. But I'm just saying like, just like a different perspective on the whole story.
My bad.
But we are all like him in the way that we.
Yeah, cause the.
Yeah.
So think about Adam and Eve doing that. Of course, it was the girl. Girls.
Yo, say
on,
with
bro,
your chest, bro. It's facts though. No matter how it make you feel, she ate the fruit first, bro. She ate the fruit first. Adam was like,
come on, Christian.
we all have it inside of us. So
yeah.
Say that he's so bad and all this weird stuff, but we are full of it as well. We do things that are.
That's also true.
We know that
That's also true, but we know the reason why it happens because of him though.
Yeah.
He lured her in, he baited her and deceived her. So that's
part of the reason why Emron says, "Hey, he's not that bad," because he's very comparable to just regular people every single day. Like,
yeah, you gotta.
The way that it's probably putting in there.
But that don't that put us in a thing. Once she ate the fruit, it took us out of divinity, so we're no longer pure or innocent. We're just now we're able to. It makes sense, bro. Because think about it, like the moment she ate that knowledge of fruit, she started to know the evils of the world, which was something that she screwed us, basically. But listen though, it was, I would say it was probably in her. You could say. Hey, you can say it was woman nature, or you could say it's human nature. But the fact do stand that she did it, not cause she is a woman, possibly. It probably could be just that she's a human. We probably would have been warned about it too. That's the thing. Could have been either or. Like this guy, yeah. But
Adam ate it, bro. We just blamed.
Oh no. The story goes. We all know who ate her. Yeah. That would be funny though. But hey, we gonna get into that too. So that's crazy. But I don't think Javon could watch it because he's not in the actual thing.
Yeah.
But it's called Paradise Lost and it's by Wendigoon, like Wendi and Goon, like as in a goon, like Goon. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Alright, I'm gonna play it because I am streaming. Gotta go back to the video.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, you can play Emron.
In like a natural story way, like
I'm gonna put your volume down because you kind of doing stuff, Javon.
Of ideas. And I made fun of Dante a lot for it, so it's only fair that Milton gets some too. Like throughout Dante's Inferno, Dante would come across someone suffering in hell and being like, "Oh, you're burning upside down forever, but you're from a town that's not Florence. Wow, that's pretty lame. Okay." And Milton's not as bad for it, but there's a scene here that I was like, there's that Danteism. As mentioned earlier, Milton was a strong Protestant, so he was very against the Catholic Church.
Like Milton's still like not a common name, but it's like a more.
So Milton hated the idea of a priest or talking to someone who then talks to God for you. So whenever Satan gets to Earth, heaven is right above Earth, like it can physically be seen from Earth, and Satan is just like, wow. Sure would be stupid if I thought I needed to speak to someone to talk to all that. And then Satan just rambles. He's like, could you
wait, so real quick, if we sin, we're impure, right? Like,
Yep.
That's basically what it is. So I'm saying like when Satan was doing all this shit to the humans, right, back in the day, and he just said that like Earth and like the heavens, you can see it, right? So I'm saying like if there's gods and angels up there, they didn't they just look down and see what's happening to the human human race?
Yeah, I mean that's the point though. It still was the whole point of it was that we have free will and the capacity to love that that angels didn't have. They were just work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whatever they were, that's what they were. Like that is what it is until we came along. and then that changed up everything. We changed up the game for them, whether good or bad. You feel me? So that's what it was, because the devil had the highest seat. He thought he was like the best creation God probably had until we came along, and then he got jealous. Why would you be jealous of us if you think you're? And that's where pride comes from.
Yeah.
That's like they say that's like the deadliest sin of all, like pride, because he has so much pride that he wouldn't, you know, get it that you're. It doesn't matter what you think. He's the top. God is top. That's what he did not get. Like just get it. Like I don't know my roles in the thing. If God come along, I'm bowing my head down. I'm confessing. I do everything I can. There's no more lying. You can't lie no more. But he's gonna keep doing it no matter what. And he's gonna be like, see, everybody else can do it. So it gotta be in you to not be like, choosing that. So that's why we get free will. So you can choose to go to hell or you can choose to go to heaven. It's your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all he's saying. So.
Imagine needing, like, I don't know, a monk or a priest even to talk to God when I can just yell and he'll hear me. That's so stupid. Which I kind of have to give Milton props for using the devil as his like morality megaphone. And I'm exaggerating a little bit for comedic effort, just a little bit, because he doesn't, say priest by name, just pretty much the idea of like it'd be dumb to need a mediary. But whenever I read this for the first time, I like read a little bit of it and I'm like, is he saying that he's pro priest? Because I just assumed if the devil's saying it, then I'm not supposed to fall for it. But then as I kept reading, I'm like, oh, he's doing the Dante thing. Okay. Also, so Milton had this belief that I don't want to say aliens, but pretty much aliens. The idea that perhaps different spirits or divine creatures of God exist in the stars or out in space of some sort, which was like a really controversial belief.
Even if there were aliens, I
and
don't think it was
Milton
meant
didn't
for us to
even
really like care about or know.
believe in it. He just thought it was kind of neat.
It's
So while Satan's standing there
like,
on Earth,
alright.
he looks up at the
Hold on, you can pause it.
Like,
just like how you come across another species on Earth, I feel like we should treat aliens the same and not try to get too involved in what they do. Because we you know what we do? When we come across species, we either subjugate them or kill them.
Yeah, no, for a fact.
Or take their land.
We already know that we're far like superior to them.
That's if we feel like it. Some people might not think that. They might think nuclear bombs are the best way, and they don't care.
Oh yeah, for a fact.
Yeah, and then who gets to choose that? Not us. The people up there will, but not us. So that's our asses. This is like we're done. Fallout and all that shit. They don't care. Any means necessary.
Can you imagine, bro?
What you mean? Can you
Like,
imagine?
oh, go new. No, I'm just saying how like I'm gonna just be there like, damn, this guy's actually like one of those people.
Oh yeah. Unless you got like a bunker underground and food, you're pretty much fucked. Cause even if you survive that shit, bro, the fallout and then the anarchy will be too crazy. It's hell on Earth, like quite literally.
Bro, and then tell me how, bro. Tell me how another country might attack, bro, while that shit's happening.
Yeah, it
so
might.
Take over,
they need resource. Right.
The perfect time.
Cause think about it, when you got countries against countries, you got war, and then the only ones who will last is the ones that don't fight within themselves first. That's why certain countries are like afraid of letting foreigners in, cause they want to have a centric type of like culture. Like I understand how Chinese
like Japan,
are, Japan or China, they're like really inclusive. So you can like America's a different melting pot. I don't know why like certain people are, like extremists like, oh, it should be all like white people and stuff, which makes no damn sense. Cause there's countries full of just white people. You can go to them. So why America's definitely not one of them? Because it wasn't built. It wasn't even for you guys. So it's just shit like that.
But America needs immigrants to even survive. Like the white population not even gonna be enough to even support.
They like by themselves, by themselves they would not be able to fill up all the niches that people of color or immigrants fill up. That's just what it is. Like if you took black people off the map, which is probably like not, I don't even think we're the biggest like besides now. It's like 12% black people, it's like 60% white people, and there's like maybe a lot of Latinos or like that type of stuff.
What to see right now?
Yeah, check the stats, but. Who going? If you take all right,
Oh damn! They said 75%
75% white.
is white. Yeah, that's crazy.
What?
And then 13.6
How current
for
is that
black or
though?
African. 22. No, what is
Yeah,
it?
you gotta go for karma because a lot of mixed racing has been happening.
It
A lot of
says
immigration
last
too.
year, July 1st.
July 1st. That's a good census, I guess. It's kind of current, even though it's last year. But
Yeah.
if that's true, if it's 75% white people in here, it like if we make up the other stuff, who like other people are gonna fill up stuff that they gonna have to fill up. It's just not. It doesn't. It's not gonna work like that because America never been working operating only one race. To be honest, like
That's what
like
America, like it's like American, like that's what it makes to be American or means to be American. You know,
like
like
that
a lot of
ass.
diversity.
Yeah, it's a melting pot. Exactly. Like that's the whole point of America. Like if if you are like dead ass. If you dead ass like she alright, let's get this video going. Yeah, if you look at it, it's always been diverse though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I gotta say. I gotta text one because that's alright, let's keep it going.
If there's any people up there. So Satan continues walking and eventually comes to this opulent gate made of gold and diamond. Just on the other side of the gate, he sees a staircase which is identified as Jacob's ladder. One of the characters of the Old Testament, Jacob, had a vision of a ladder going up to heaven where he saw angels going up and down it. In the story, this is symbolic of the gateway that the angels take from heaven to earth. Satan jumps over the gate, and it's described as the way a wolf would leap over a gate, or perhaps a paid clergyman in a church. Just, real subtle, blink and you miss him jabs like that. As Satan begins to climb Jacob's ladder, he begins to feel envious. He sees this creation rolled out before him and is mad that he doesn't get to be a part of it. He looks over and sees the sun, which was newly created as part of this realm of Earth. Satan flies out and steps foot on the sun and says that it feels almost nostalgic as the light of
They
it
got the
reminds
picture
him
of
of
it.
heaven. And he reminisces that as he'll likely never be allowed to step foot in heaven again, this is the closest he's going to get. As he's standing on the sun, he looks down at Earth and sees an angel sitting on top of a hill. He recognizes this angel on the hill as Uriel, one of heaven's guards. He assumes that if God's creation of man is on Earth, then Uriel must be guarding it. So in order to approach Uriel, Satan disguises himself as a cherub. And I'm sorry, this isn't one of the crazy six-winged cherubs. We'll see some of those later. This is described as an infant cherub, so it's more in line with like the Renaissance art that was popular at the time. So you can think that Satan transformed in a little innocent baby angel. So Satan, as a cherub, approaches Uriel and says that he wants to go into God's creation so that he can better understand God and give him praises and nothing devious. And this works because, as the story notes, the angels have never known any kind of contempt or guile or deceit outside of what Satan did. So the concept of Satan appearing as another angel would never even cross their mind. So Uriel just lets the cherub on through. As Satan begins to fly into what is now the Garden of Eden, he is overcome with the beauty of it. As he's flying, he begins to become emotional and feel that he messed everything up. He begins to think if his rebellion was ever even worth it. While thinking of God, he says, "With his good upbraided none, nor was his service hard." Essentially, why did I ever even need to do that in the first place? If it wasn't for that action, I could be like Uriel and be a part of this beauty. As a matter of fact, Satan feels so much sorrow in this moment that he feels unworthy and guilty to be in Eden in the first place. And perhaps most tragic of all, Satan assumed that the misery and despondence he was feeling was because he was in hell earlier in the story, but now here, surrounded by all this beauty, the misery hasn't gone away. He says, "Which way I fly is hell, myself is hell." Until his rebellion, he had never known grief or sorrow or shame or anything of the like. So here, over Eden, Satan asks himself, should I ask for forgiveness? Keep in mind, this story was written in the 1600s. The devil was more so the concept or the embodiment of evil itself. And for Milton to do this very well could have got him executed. But I believe understanding the condition, or at least trying to understand the condition of one's enemy, is far more useful than just writing them off as an exception. So as he is considering, does he want forgiveness, he stops himself and says, no, that's not what I want. He says as he was leading the rebellion in heaven, and as he was sitting on the throne in hell, he for the first time had a taste of absolute power and absolute control. And after that, he could never go back to heaven and continue to serve at God's side or act as a happy person whenever all he really wants is to just take power again. He continues to echo that motive, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. And in this moment, he decides that it is worth it. Everything he's done is for a purpose. Satan had also been asking himself the question of why God just hadn't forgiven him as soon as it was over. He'd seen the forgiveness of God time and time again and wondered why he himself was the exception. But here in this moment, once he realizes that those feelings never really went away, and he's more so just overcome with the beauty around him rather than actually being sorry, that as he now recognizes that he's never changed and he's never going to change, God knew all along. And despite his temporary doubts, Satan never wanted forgiveness, and God always knew that. So, as Satan's having this,
that was the whole point. He never felt sorry about what he was doing.
Eyes are welled up with tears.
So yeah, so I'm not gonna feel bad for him.
Uriel,
he kept going.
Watching all of this, goes, man.
Or it kept
that
going.
cherub is going through it. Because again, Satan's still in the form of a cherub, and all of these expressions are, very visible. And it's during that moment, because a divine cherub that doesn't know grief or pain would never make half of the expressions that guy made, Uriel figures this must have been a trick. More specifically, it must be one of the fallen angels, because, there's not many contenders for evil shape-shifting cherubs. So Uriel, who's too far from Satan to catch up, decides to go get help. So Satan then comes to these beautiful trees in the center of paradise. He transforms himself into the visage of a bird and flies on top of the tallest tree in the garden, the tree of life. Immediately next to this tree of life is the tree of knowledge. As Satan sits on top of the tree, he sees this infinite peace around him, a peace that he's overcome with, realizing he'll never experience it again. And as Satan is up here surveying creation, he sees two creatures coming by, and he immediately recognizes them as being special because they're both made in the image of God. These two creatures are, of course, Adam and Eve. The story describes the two as being happy and naked in glory. Since they do not know sin and do not know concepts of shame, guilt, lust, or anything of the sort, the two of them are just fully naked all the time. But of course it doesn't matter, because sin isn't even a concept yet, at least not to them. Satan walks as the two walk by a fountain next to the tree of knowledge. As the two are
this shit get gassier, bro. It gets good, better and better. It gets better.
And all of these mix of
that includes us.
And pray in perfect harmony. The concepts of death and misery had not entered the world yet, so everything lived in mutual love. As Satan is listening, he hears the conversation between the two. They're discussing the tree of knowledge next to them. Whenever Adam and later Eve were made in the garden, they were told to not eat of the tree of knowledge, lest they should surely die. I'll talk about at the end why the tree was there and all that, but for now they're just not supposed to eat of it. As they're sitting there, they're talking about it, and Eve says, "What do you think die means?" Adam says, "I don't know, but it's probably bad. It's probably something that we don't want to
asking all these questions.
Anyway, doesn't this fruit taste amazing?"
Listen.
They talk about the glory of each other's traits and how madly in love they are. It says that whenever Adam looks at Eve, he smiles on her with a superior love. Eve begins to talk about her creation, and I understand this is expository, but it's also cool, so I'll allow it. For those that don't know, in the creation story, Adam was initially created by himself, but God saw that it was not right for someone to exist alone and that humanity needed a partner. So Adam fell asleep and God took out one of Adam's ribs and from that made Eve. So Eve says here in the story that whenever she woke up, it was late at night and she was completely alone. And she had no concept of what she was or, existence itself. So she began to wonder and looked down in the river and saw a reflection of herself, and a voice told her that that was her. The voice then told her to go find Adam, and whenever the two met, it says that they were joined in glory, having completed their own creation. And that when Adam first saw her, he fell in love with her, seeing the full power of God's divinity. I also like a lot of the language that's used to describe Eve throughout the story. Like, not just her beauty, which Adam describes as being immeasurable, but there's also a respect and a reverence for her position as the mother of all creation. That isn't only brought up a lot by Adam, but as we see in a bit, even the angels honor. In this conversation, Adam refers to her as the divine mother, full of beauty. And there's a few moments in this story that get me, and one of them is right here. As Satan is hearing all of this, he's again overcome with emotion, because looking on them as these pure beings that are so beautiful and full of love for each other, he is full of misery that he can't love them. And not that he wishes they had their power or had their position. He wants to be one of the angels who protects them, who has charge to be around them. Just the idea of being around two such pure beings of love and attraction to one another makes him envious. But he snaps out of it again and tells himself that he's too far gone, and if he can't experience the love of these two, then no one can. So he thinks about what the two were talking about, that they're not allowed to eat the tree of knowledge, and he decides that's how he's going to get them. We then cut back to Uriel, who is going to get help because, if you'll remember, he realized he was tricked. Gabriel is sitting atop Eden's gate along with several other angels whenever Uriel gets there. When Gabriel hears this, him and the other angels launch a search. We then go back and see Adam and Eve preparing to go to sleep in this place that's described as a sort of house, but it's made of soft leaves, and it's a beautiful thicket where the two of them retire and sleep every night. Adam mentions that they have work to do in the morrow, such as tending to the flowers and picking fruit, but it's established that they both love the work. They essentially get to design and arrange and care for the garden in whatever way they wish. They have dominion over the animals and the plants there, and are essentially living in their own realm of creation that they never grow bored of. So as the two of them go to sleep, Gabriel and the angels are continuing their search. So as they're searching, two angels are like, we better go check up on Adam and Eve, make sure they're okay. And whenever the angels get there, so Adam and Eve are asleep, and Satan is transformed into a frog, and he's sitting next to Eve's ear, just whispering to her in her sleep. So the angels get there, and it says earlier that in this divine bed they have, that no animals enter in, like it's just for them. So whenever the angels like get there, and I imagine they like push the leaves to the side,
this is funny.
That's talking.
What?
That's
the
Satan.
angels, it says they hit him with the spear, and he transforms back into Satan. So the two angels take Satan out so they don't bother Adam and Eve's beauty sleep. And the angels ask this fallen angel who he is. Satan mocks them, saying, I was the one who led the armies against you and waged the war in heaven. You two are just stupid if you don't recognize me. And the two angels say that the reason they didn't recognize him is because the hate and turmoil have taken so much away from his heavenly power that he's unrecognizable from the angel they knew. Satan's a little taken aback by this.
Now he looks like an actual demon instead of like an angel.
He wants to see Gabriel.
Because he hates so much. Nigga, you a hater. That shit hurt.
And is not happy to see him. He asks Satan what he's doing here among God's new creation. Satan initially feigns ignorance. He just says, oh, well, hell was lame. It like hurt, and it was hot, and I didn't want to be there anymore, so I just kind of like, was walking around and
this part was
here.
good.
What a coincidence.
They start bumping.
So Gabriel calls him out on this and says,
angels
so
fight is crazy.
You're the only one who left? All those millions of angels trapped in hell with this fire, and you're the only one who had to leave? I guess you're just pretty weak then. And with that, Satan just
your power
snaps.
level is
As
low.
soon as his
They
pride
just put up
hurt,
on
he
it.
can't take it, and he rebuttals Gabriel
He's like,
by
I'm
saying
Lucifer.
how disgraceful it is to look at one who is actually willing to take up for freedom and actually willing to fight for what he believed in, and essentially calls Gabriel just a loser who follows orders. Gabriel responds by saying that Satan was one of the chief looked upon angels in all of heaven, and that everything was in perfect order, everyone was happy, it was perfect joy
Nah, you messed that
until
up.
he came along. And because of his personal arrogance, he had to ruin it not just for himself and the angels who fell with him, but for all of creation that would come afterwards. And he says that Satan, who was too weak to swallow his own pride, is nothing but pathetic. With this,
Now,
Satan begins to threaten
Your pride
war,
was your
and he
weakness, bruh.
becomes a giant
Yep.
creature
That's Vegeta.
born in line with his true form. As soon as he does this, Gabriel and the angels
Isn't it
around
everyone's
him
weakness?
also begin
Yeah,
to grow in
too much
scale.
pride.
The story describes it as powering up for a battle that could destroy this new creation
You're not the
entirely.
Almighty.
Just as they're about to fight, God causes these giant scales to appear in the sky.
Huh,
And I mean,
yo.
like physical scales, like you put weight in one side and it goes down while the other goes up.
What?
One of these scales is very far down and the other one's very far up. And Gabriel grabs Satan, essentially telling him to knock it off, and shows him the scales, which are indicating the difference between the power of God, i.e. Gabriel, and the power of Satan and his personal pride, which is literally nothing, because all of his power is just a amalgamation that he kept from God, which is nothing compared to Gabriel's direct God power. So I cannot stress this enough. Satan was about to destroy the entirety of creation, and Gabriel literally power scaled him.
Nah, like they can
Satan
look at I
is
scale
about to
higher than
fight,
you.
And Gabriel grabs
Yeah.
it, and he's like, look at the chart.
He's like, no matter what you
see
do,
that
you're gonna get your
chart?
ass whooped. You're probably
Body
gonna get hurt
in an
more.
instant. So with that,
Do it.
Satan travels
He
to
like,
the
do
dark
it. He's like,
side of
ah,
the earth
shit.
before the sun rises in Eden, and Gabriel and the angels return.
Damn,
to
he
their
left
posts.
before the
So
sun
the next
came back
morning,
up.
when Adam and Eve wake
Isn't
up,
Gabriel like the
Eve
strongest
says
of
that
the
she
Yeah,
had a
he-
bad
yeah,
dream.
and
And I
Michael
can
is
only
one of the
imagine that Adam
strongest.
was like,
Gabriel too.
"Bad,
Both of them
what
are.
an
I
interesting
think Michael is the
concept."
strongest.
In the dream, Eve
Oh,
says
okay.
a voice that
Yeah.
she thought was Adam's guided her to the tree of knowledge. When she got to the tree, an angel appeared and took a bite out of one of the fruits and then offered the same to Eve. She said it was hard to explain, but she felt that eating of the fruit would make her be like God. So as soon as she took a bite of it in the dream, her and the angelic figure flew up into the clouds before the angelic figure disappeared, and she slowly drifted down to earth before waking up. I didn't expect dream symbolism of the fall of man depicted in a story from the 17th century, but I'm definitely here for it. As she's relaying this story to Adam, Eve begins to cry, which is, again, probably a new emotion for them. Adam comforts her, telling her that it's okay, and that just because something happened in a dream doesn't mean it's real.
Exactly.
At the same time, God in heaven, who's seen all of this, says that Adam and Eve need to be made aware of the devil's tricks. So God calls on one of his chief angels, Raphael, to go to earth and warn Adam and Eve. However, God stresses that this doesn't mean you imprison them, and it doesn't mean you hunt down Satan and capture him. This is just to inform them of the tricks that Satan is going to try to pull. Because above
You
all
need to do
else,
yourself,
they must
God. That's
maintain the
God's,
freedom to do whatever they desire. So Raphael comes to
That's
earth
God
in this
appointed,
seraph-like
not
embodiment of a
yours.
six-winged angel, and Adam and Eve can see the bright light of Raphael glowing before he even gets close. So as they see him walking their way, they begin to prepare a feast of fruits and drink and what have you. Whenever Raphael steps into their home, or essentially like the little burrow alcove that they have, again we see more symbolism of Raphael respecting Eve's position. As soon as Raphael, one of God's chief angels, walks into the burrow, he bows himself before Eve and says, "Hail, Mother of mankind, whose fruitful womb shall fill the world." So, as they eat, Adam and Eve begin to ask Raphael questions. Initially, they ask questions like, oh, can angels eat human food? What's it like to fly? And, basic stuff you'd imagine a human would ask an angel. Eventually, Adam asks a question about the position of humanity, and why they are specifically given dominion over the garden on Earth. Raphael explains that there is a hierarchy of order, and that everything that is a tier up maintains the traits of the tier below it. You have plants and fruits that have a physical form, and then you have animals that have a physical form and some level of sentience, and then you have humans that have physical form, sentience, and soul. And
Yeah,
Raphael
the
explains
mind, body,
that
and
this
soul.
continues to rise into heaven. After that, you have angels who have all three of those, as well as heavenly power. And then past that, you have God who has all of that, as well as omnipotence and sight outside of time and other godly abilities.
So does that mean the Trinity is the mind, body, and soul?
Why anyone would want to
Because the
overthrow
Holy
authority. See,
Alright,
Adam is
my
asking
bad.
questions about this, like
You hear
why
me?
would someone not just go about the way they're supposed to? Because in his mind and in his heart,
you hear me?
I'm back to it.
Yeah, I said, do you think the when they talk about the Trinity, when they be like God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, do they mean by mind, body, and soul? Like
Yeah, if you think about it like that, they can make metaphors for those, or like different meanings.
That's what I was kind of
see
seeing
how
it as. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for a fact, I can see that being it too.
All right, but that makes sense to me at the very least. If it could be, I'm not saying it is though.
Or envy or pride doesn't even exist. So for him, it's a conundrum as to why this order would even be upset in the first place. Raphael explains that all higher order beings have the power of free will, and that free will can lead people to commit actions of good or evil that ultimately make them happy. And just because someone is fulfilled by something doesn't mean it's the right thing. As an example, Raphael mentions the fallen angels, because as we understand, just because Satan wanted to overthrow God doesn't mean that he should, do that. Adam asked Raphael if he can explain the history of why the angels fell, and Raphael agrees. So we finally get the story of why Satan rebelled and of the war in heaven. Raphael said that before the earth was created, God in heaven gathered all the angels together for a great announcement. His announcement was that there is now a new creation, an extension of himself directly, and that this creation was God's son, or at least a son in the closest way humans could consider it. Again, most people believe the son always existed, but we're sticking to the poem. Furthermore, God said that this son has all of the powers and is an extension of God himself and should be treated as such, and that one day this son would create a realm of paradise for new creatures to enjoy. At the announcement of this, all of heaven was joyous and blew trumpets and had celebrations and welcomed the Son of God now brought before them, all but one, God's chief angel by the name of Lucifer.
Yep.
Lucifer was furious. His entire existence, he had never considered the idea of moving up or someone being put in rank above him. But now that God extended himself through his son, Lucifer was jealous that that couldn't be him. Lucifer begins to contemplate what he can do to overthrow this new authority and to insert himself at the right hand of God. It's during this time that sin is created as described earlier and eventually death. Lucifer decides that he won't be able to insert himself by God's side peacefully, so he'll take it by force. That night he goes to Beelzebub, again his second in command, and tells Beelzebub to round up all the angels as they're going to fly to the north end of heaven, where waiting for them will be this new Son of God to give them future orders. So, millions of angels join behind Lucifer. Again, he was the chief, if not one of the chief angels, and Lucifer goes to the north end of heaven with a third of the angels following him. Now during this time, Lucifer thinks that he's being sneaky, or he's going to trick God. But as we understand, God sees all, and he sees this happening in the current moment. He knows exactly what's going to come of this, but he allows free will to carry itself out. So as soon as they get to the north end of heaven, Lucifer constructs a throne out of diamond and gold. He asks all the angels around them, have they ever considered what could happen if they tried to reign themselves? He asks the angels to consider their own power and think about what could happen if all of them united. They could essentially accomplish anything. And above all else, think of all they could create and control if they had the throne of God. And again, while not exactly subtle, it is certainly effective. The visual of Lucifer telling everyone that they need to unite together because they can all share their power and be in unison with each other as he sets on a diamond throne. Again, everything that Satan is doing is to motivate his own selfish actions. He's jealous that he didn't get the position at the right hand of God. And because of that, he's willing to say or do whatever it takes to get his revenge, as long as at the end of the day, he's sitting on his throne as he does it. Most of the angels are on board with this and think it would be cool to have the power of God. One angel speaks up against Lucifer, an angel by the name of Abdiel.
Abdiel
essentially says, "What are you on about?" Because he makes the valid argument that the reason any of us have any power right now is a direct line from God. So if you go severing that line, you probably won't get far. Furthermore, he points out the fact that concepts of pain and misery and, dying are literally just concepts. They don't exist yet. So Abdiel, sensing that there's some underlying motive for Lucifer's sudden change of heart and want of revolution, asks Lucifer why he would go against a perfect being that created him. Lucifer cannot answer this question, so he diverts. He asked Abdiel, "Oh, so do you remember being created?"
Bro, he didn't even answer the question.
So what's going on? They simply just were. So Lucifer says, "I don't remember being created. Do you remember when you were created? What about you?" And no one can remember when they were created. So Lucifer says, "What if we're all self-made? What if we all have our own power?
No
and what
way.
if that guy over there on the throne is no different from the rest of us? But just because he has that big seat, we all think he should be in charge." Again, Satan is saying this while sitting in a big seat thinking he should be in charge. Lucifer says that this incredible power each of them have is within them and their own creation. So why not use that power to take the throne?
Then that's what that term "do or shall thou wilt."
Ridicule Abdiel.
That means
as
do
Abdiel
it yourself.
gets up
You know what
and
I mean.
flies to God's throne.
Then that's what
Something
that
that's
come from.
interesting about this story is with the characterization of Satan, his spoken motive is constantly changing. His true motive has always been the same. In the beginning, he was jealous of Jesus and wanted to fight God, and in the garden, he still wants to fight God. But he continues to change his spoken motive into whatever can best manipulate the people around him. At first, it's, "Hey, why don't we all join together with our angelic power and take a position that's rightfully ours, and ignore this whole golden seed, it's just for show." And then right after that, his spoken motive changes into, "Well, actually, God's not special, and we're all just like God, and that guy's a poser, so we should get rid of him." And then in the beginning of the story, when we saw the angels in hell, Satan says, "Oh, well, we're just not, going to let this go unanswered. We have to get our revenge." And furthermore, hey, so maybe I was wrong about the whole God not being powerful thing, because as Beelzebub said at the beginning, God got hands. So let's attack God where it really hurts, which is this new realm of creation. And now in the story's current position in the garden, he's just like, "Well, I guess I'll ruin this whole man thing he's got going on." This shell of righteousness that covers up his bitterness and hate is slowly chipping away as the story goes on. Because throughout the story, he has always been a creature that is simply jealous and hateful of God and wants to ruin whatever system.
It might just be a force of nature and not
at first it was Jesus,
actual ideal,
and now
or
at the
thoughts of
current
help.
place in the story, it's mankind.
It's like he's
this is
moving
also
like a
reflected
force.
in Satan's transformations throughout the story. Whenever he's first
But he's not
described,
unstoppable.
he's as tall as a mountain in this natural form. But then he transforms and shrinks down so he can fit into pandemonium. But then after that, he transforms into a small little cherub, much less powerful than the form he was just at, and then he becomes a bird, and then he becomes a frog, and then finally he'll become a serpent. The iconography of these transformations continues to scale down until he's boiled down to what he really is, a deceitful creature that crawls about on its belly. The visage of his verbal stance erodes in
That's the
hand
ultimate
with
hurt to a
the
pride. You
visage
just
of
crawl
his
on your
physical
belly.
stance. Another
Just
interesting
bite
note
you.
about the scene in heaven when Abdiel flies off is that Satan is using the same manipulation tactics. For those that know where the story of Eden ends up, for one, it's not the best. But in the Bible, it says that the way the serpent tricks Eve into eating the fruit is by saying that the tree of knowledge is simply that, a resource of knowledge. And if Eve eats of it, she'll be like God. For one, that's the same prideful temptation that led Satan to commit his own atrocity. But two, it's a gap in Eve's understanding, as she doesn't know what this knowledge may be. And that's where Satan finds his in through the mystery
She don't know the
in order to get her
consequences.
to sin. Much like here, whenever he asks the angels, "Do you remember being created?" he uses that to fill in the gaps and pose themselves as equal creatures to God. Through ignorance, Satan can manipulate his subjects' understanding. Furthermore, the idea that Satan tricks people or gets them to sin by convincing them that they are more powerful than they really are, or convincing them that the only thing they need to succeed is their self, is something that is seen throughout the entirety of the Bible. So it's interesting to imagine that his first manipulation was in the same manner, of causing people to look inward rather than outward. So that was a lot of weird analysis, I know, but I
You're
can't
fine,
help
cause you say
myself.
you go to work.
Abdel
We could
flies
just
to
finish
God's
this later,
throne, and when
cause
he
this
gets
did
there,
go on
he
for a
sees
while.
that God is already
Oh, yeah,
preparing,
it's over an
because,
hour
you know,
though.
Yeah,
God
that's
can
what I
see all,
said.
he doesn't need to
Like
know
we're
anything.
halfway.
Tell
We
him
can
that.
continue like tomorrow. If we done, cause I gotta go actually use the bathroom. No lie.
My boy said that you always said that. McDonald's walking.
That
Always
spicy
said
chicken sandwich,
the
man. I'm not
McDouble and
getting
the
it no
spicy
more.
chicken, the fry.
I'm not getting the spicy. I think the McChicken is better, bro. I don't know.
The regular one, right?
Yeah, the regular McChicken, spicy McChicken is just fine. Cause I don't need to eat like premium chicken sandwich. It's just too much stuff on it.
You remember when the McChickens were $1, bro?
Ah man, I remember. Remember, now they're like $2.09 now. But if you get them with a fry, then it kind of evens out, kind of. It's like 150 technically. Not even. It's like it was like 160. Yeah, like it's like 339.
It is sad, right? You get them shits for protein, bro.
Hey, yo, it's cool. Nah, I can't do that to you. I was gonna say it's cool if I slide by for some of them shakes, but I would still probably just give you the money, cause I still need to get the stuff. So you'll probably already have it instead of me giving it to you when you're gonna get it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just like give it to you so you'll have it already. So whenever you cop, you got like the money yourself.
Alright, baby.
Yeah, so that way you only be like what 70 short, 75. But hey, just let me know, cause you say you're gonna talk to him at 12, so I'll probably just slide by after the fact. Oh, then I'll talk to Fernandy too or somebody else.
Yeah.
Alright then, man.
Alright.
I'm out.
Deuces.
Deuces. Art stream. Peace out. Appreciate y'all for coming.